Have you ever watched a Saturday morning cartoons block that aired on Fox and question what is this block? To me and to some people, there was this block on Fox after Fox discontinued its original children's network. And this was called the Fox Box, or as we affectionately known it today as 4Kids TV, the game station. Owned by 4Kids Entertainment and formerly known as the Fox Box from 2002 to 2005, it's a Saturday morning TV programming block as a cooperative agreement between 4Kids Entertainment and Fox after Fox Kids programming was acquired by Disney internationally. The block aired a special preview on September 1st, 2002, and was formally launched on September 14th of that year. In this video, we're going to dive in to the Fox Box, or the 4Kids TV block, and talk about what it is and what happened to it after its death. Back in 2001, Fox decided they'd been fed up as they wanted to use the time slot in the afternoon hours taken up by Fox Kids for their own programming to keep up with the big three networks, ABC, CBS, and NBC. And so Fox Kids, Fox Family Worldwide, and Saban Entertainment were all sold to the Walt Disney Company. Disney oversaw Fox Kids and Fox let them operate it at Fox TV headquarters in Hollywood and was put in the oversight of at News Corp. Fox has saw that the writing was all over the wall for their Fox Kids block, and they discontinued daytime, afternoon, after-school daytime children's programming at the end of 2001. The time was given back to the affiliates. Then, in 2002, Fox put up their Saturday morning time slot up for auction and for bidding, where 4Kids Entertainment, who dubbed the first few seasons of Pokemon to use that Saturday morning time period. Fox Kids became the only Saturday morning programming block being aired in through September 7th, 2002, when those hours were replaced by 4Kids Entertainment's new block called the Fox Box, with a slogan, "What's inside the Fox Box? We may never know what it is inside of it." Fox Box aired a special preview on September 1st, 2002, and was formally launched on September 14th of that year under the name Fox Box, a joint venture between News Corporation and 4Kids Entertainment, replacing Fox Kids, which the network announced that it would discontinue as a result of the 2001 purchase of Fox Family Worldwide by the Walt Disney Company. What remained of Fox Kids was killed in September 2002. Fox Box came, which the Fox Box launched at the same time as ABC Kids launched. While ABC Kids paid homage to Fox Kids, the Fox Box is something that we are focusing on right now. So, 4Kids Entertainment was fully responsible for the content of the block and collected all the advertising revenue occurred from it. However, during the time, Fox's Standards and Practices Department was still handled content approval and responsibility of editing the series to meet the FCC broadcasting standards. Much of Fox Box's programming consists of shows acquired by 4Kids Entertainment. This included original programming, Ultraman Tiga, Kirby Right Back at Ya, Ultimate Muscle, The Fighting Foodons, the 2003 adaptation of the Ninja Turtles, WMAC Masters, Sonic X, Funky Cops, Shaman Kane, Cubics, Robots for Everyone, Winx Club, F-Zero, GP Legend, and One Piece. Acquired programming: Stargate Infinity to meet the EI Children's Television Act, The Cramp Twins, Pirate Islands, Back to the Future, the animated series, Martin Mystery, The Menu, the hell that is, and short form programming, The Incredible Crash Dummies. That and that was it. And that was during the Foxbox name. However, on January 22nd, 2005, the block was rebranded as 4KidsTV. 4Kids Entertainment was in charge of the block and content and collected all ad revenue occurred from it. However, Fox's Standards and Practices Department still handled content approval and responsibility of editing the series to meet the FCC broadcast standards. The block aired on Saturday mornings in most areas of the United States, though some stations carried it on Sundays due to scheduling conflicts, resulting in the block airing on stations affiliated with other minor networks, reaching to non-Fox affiliates, just like Fox Kids, including the WB and UPN. So what about my Fox affiliate that aired 4KidsTV? Well, WTXF aired it on just a Saturday morning, as it's an independent station, so they have nothing on there. So they have nothing to occupy their Saturday morning slot. That back then, I heard about 4KidsTV, and I watched it via on demand, mostly for Sonic X. Honestly, so but this wasn't all. While during programming, the programming transitioned into 4KidsTV, much of the programming that airs on the Fox box are still there. However, with brand new shows being added, like Mew Mew Power, Magical Do-Re-Mi, G.I. Joe Sigma 6, Viva Pinata, Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Capsule Monsters, Chaotic Marillion Invasion, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, Dinosaur King, and the Adrenaline Project. Acquired series: Alien Racers, Brad's, DJ Defenders, and Biker Mice from Mars came to the block. There was an online website called 4KidsTV.com. The online network 4Kids launched an online video player on its website on September 8th, 2007, and gradually added full-length episodes, as well as additional video clips and online exclusive content. And in the markets where 4KidsTV didn't run, there was WBRC, WGHP High Point, and WABG DT2. There's also My Network TV affiliates where 4KidsTV actually ran on, like WPWR TV, KDFI, WDWB /WMYD, WBFS TV, WFTC, KPDX, KMYS, and KTTU. For CW affiliates, WUPA Atlanta, WBX-TV, KFRE, KXVO, and KASW. The list continues on, where 4KidsTV ran on certain independent stations. On October 2nd, 2007, through a joint decision between CBS Corporation and Time Warner, who owns the CW at the time, the CW announced that they would discontinue Kids WB as they had, as 4Kids Entertainment announced that the free-to-air channel The CW would be getting a 4Kids TV block of its own called The CW 4Kids, which first aired on May 24th, 2008, after Kids WB was killed off due to fierce competition and lack of children's advertising. We'll get to that later on. Much of 4Kids TV's programming consists of shows frequently joining and leaving throughout 4Kids TV's existence. Unfortunately, 2008 would see the end of 4Kids TV. On November 10th, 2008, 4Kids Entertainment announced that the 4Kids TV block on Fox would be discontinued by the end of the year due to 4Kids not paying Fox their time lease for a while, and conflicts between the network and Fox affiliates over not carrying the block on some of their market regions. Depending on where you live, 4Kids TV will be shown off on independent stations or on WB, CW, or My Network TV affiliates. Doesn't that sound familiar to you guys? What happened to Fox Kids? Yeah, that's it. You got it. 4Kids TV was officially discontinued on December 27th, 2008, but would be soldiered on until January 3rd of 2009, when it was replaced by Weekend Marketplace, which is a block that airs infomercials. Fox would never again venture into the realm of children's programming. But until 2014, where Fox would reverse their decision with Exploration Station, a Steve Rockfeld production, as a co-partnership between Fox, News Corp, and Steve Rockfeld to produce a block fit for the teenagers demographic, which ultimately see that this is not the kind of children's programming that everybody actually wanted. But to be honest, this is probably for the best, as Saturday morning cartoons started declining, and this is right around the point that Saturday morning cartoons had died. So what about the 4Kids TV programming? All programming from 4Kids TV were later carried over to the CW as the CW for Kids. So much of Kids WB's programming that were airing on the CW for Kids were later dropped from the lineup and were replaced by 4Kids TV produced original programming that were acquired by 4Kids Entertainment. So much of their programming were carried over. Chaotic, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, Viva Pinata, Dinosaur King, alongside with brand new programming that were slated to be as part of the 4Kids TV block, like Go-Go Riki, and other programming like Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. At one point they actually had Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds at the time. Much of the programming from the CW for Kids, which were acquired series from Kids WB, were still there until they all ended their runs at their deadlines. For 4Kids TV was still soldiering on, but as the CW for Kids, as 4Kids Entertainment was putting all their effort in the CW contract rather than the Fox contract. This is the reason why 4Kids TV was discontinued in 2008 to 2009. Much of 4Kids TV's programming still carried on the CW for Kids until until 2012, when the CW for Kids was renamed to the CW for Kids Toonzai. Programming from 4Kids TV were dropped due to 4Kids Entertainment losing the licenses to certain shows like The Winx Club, Go-Go Riki, Magical Do-Re-Mi, and more. Yeah, they lost certain licenses. This probably might be the reason why some of the 4Kids TV shows were dropped in favor for news shows. The CW for Kids Toonzai would remain until 2012. 2010 would see the CW for Kids be rebranded as Toonzai, as anime was starting to go into a full swing on 4Kids as part of this poor marketing deal for anime programming. Although they still aired non-anime that was outside the block, like Cubics Robots for Everyone. But honestly, most of the programming consisted of just anime and not what people were really looking for. They even have a slogan called the CW for Kids Toonzai, where epic anime lives. Some people still ranted about that slogan. Oh, and in 2011, they had a new host called Shoji, which honestly, he's honestly very weird and not what people were really looking for. Or some. Shoji also said the CW for Kids Toonzai is where epic anime rules, which honestly everyone actually disagrees. Epic anime were actually butchered. Epic anime. Hey. As we all know, 4Kids was well known for censoring everything to appeal to kids. The most famous one being One Piece, where they would erase women's cleavage, change skin colors, replacing guns with bamboo sticks, and take away all forms of blood and serious injury. That, of course, would shorten the version. This, of course, would shorten the version of the series and would give them some negative criticism. Also, during 2011, it was revealed that 4Kids Entertainment was secretly been licensing various animes that it didn't own, such as Yu-Gi-Oh!, to Funimation and Majesco Sales, and wasn't given any of the profits to TV Tokyo Corporation or Nihon Ad Systems, who produced Yu-Gi-Oh!, among others. And so, both companies filed a $4 million lawsuit against 4Kids. As a result, 4Kids Entertainment ended up filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Saban Capital Group and Konami placed bids to acquire most of their assets. Konami received the U.S. rights to Yu-Gi-Oh! And Saban received everything else, including the rights to the Saturday morning programming block on the CW, where Toonzai was replaced with Vortex, and the rest was history. While 4Kids TV may not be the best programming block to come out of the 2000s, but everyone still remembers it as it has a lot of shows outside Japanese cartoons, like Sonic X and the Winx Club, like the Cramp Twins and such. Alongside with that, Cubics Robots for Everyone was on the block as well. However, I have to talk about the good qualities that 4Kids TV had. Firstly, I love the cool bumpers that 4Kids TV had. The Game Station era, particularly. The Game Station was pretty much very nostalgic to me. I remember looking at one of the bumpers and it was like very, very colorful, very, very great, very serious, and was pretty well designed. Also, I love the pinball bumpers, where the announcer says, "Get in the game" with a certain show, like Sonic X or Dinosaur King or the Winx Club, right now on 4Kids TV. Considering that I actually like the Game Station era. The Game Station era was later carried over to the CW for Kids. It's pretty much an enjoyable part. While the Game Station era may not be the best because of its bland and modern, dingy, boring design, but it's still pretty memorable. And also, the CW for Kids even has this slogan saying, "You're signed on to the CW for Kids." Very, very, very highly well done. The CW for Kids even had a computer era, which 4Kids TV really would have had, actually, if it was soldered on. To be fair, 4Kids TV may not be the best, but it has the best era bumpers I've ever seen in a Saturday morning programming block on broadcast TV channels. And I yearn for something like this to return in the modern day. In conclusion, while 4Kids TV may not be the best Saturday morning block that launched back in the 2000s, it's still a kick to watch, as certain shows were on the block that I still watch to this day. Hell, I remember I used to watch Yu-Gi-Oh!, the original one back in the day, and I even watched Sonic X during Toonzai and 4Kids TV on demand. It's still very awesome to watch, and honestly, I think 4Kids TV is heavily unappreciated. Even though it doesn't have the best shows in the 2000s, and even though 4Kids really butchered and really dented much of the anime and such, but that doesn't mean they still have a bunch of programming that are still memorable. But honestly, what 4Kids should have done is that 4Kids Entertainment really should have gave credit to the original owners of material and such. Even and also they should have been involved with the US dubs of certain anime. I mean, just think about it for a sec. If somebody from 4Kids Entertainment comments on this video, oh my goodness, I will literally scream. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video about the history of 4Kids TV, the rise and fall, and have a nice day. Squeak out.